Hey there, bookworms. Welcome to Pouring Over Books, a podcast where we dive into the books we love and maybe a few we didn't. I'm your host, LaShawn, and every week I'll be deep diving into what I'm reading, recommendations, and talking about all the things that we love about books. So grab your favorite coffee or tea, find a cozy spot, and let's get ready to pour over some great books together. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Pouring Over Books podcast. I am LaShawn, your host. And do you realize that May is almost over? I looked at the calendar and realized that my son gets out of school next week, and that means the official start of summer in this house. I am really excited. Summer is when I get my life back, when I'm not a slave to schedules and time frames, and things just feel more free, even if we have activities that my son has to do, like football practice, or I'm hoping he gets a job this summer maybe. Even with that, I feel like I have more free time to live my life. It does not revolve completely around a strict schedule that we have to follow during the school months. So even though he is in his teenage years and now my life is going to revolve around his social life, basically, I still feel like I'm going to have a good, relaxing summer because vacation, beach, pools, lazy days in the hammock, I am here for it. And I'm also excited because summer reading season is upon us, friends. Next week, just in time for summer, I will be sharing my most anticipated summer books, sort of like a mini summer reading guide. And also next week on my Substack, Letters from LaShawn, I will be releasing my summer reading guide for the summer. This will be more in depth with categories, maybe a little PDF for you to download to keep up with them, maybe a little summer reading like program for adults with prizes. I don't know. Stay tuned. I will definitely talk about it here on the pod afterwards. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for all of that next week. Because next week after Memorial Day, it's summertime, y'all. It's summer. Anyway, I was talking to a friend yesterday about reading. She had just DNF'd a book that I had also DNF'd because the subject matter was so hard. And then we went into a discussion about what reading for pleasure means to us. I'm going to admit that I read for escapism, I read for entertainment, and I pick my own books accordingly. That doesn't mean that all of my books are frivolous. Sometimes a book can be deep without being hard. A book can be meaningful without being hard. A book can have a hard subject matter without being hard. But 90% of the time, I don't want to work for my story. It's not at this stage in my life. Maybe I'll feel a different way when our country is not in the middle of a dumpster fire. But for now, reading is my escape, and I want to keep it that way. And I pick my books accordingly. But anyway, with summer coming, I thought it would be a good idea to talk about a way to read more books. Some people do their majority of their reading in the summer when they have more free time. And someone DM'd me last week about this. So without further ado, let's talk about 5 ways to read more this summer and beyond. My first tip for you is read what interests you, not just because it's popular. And that goes back to my earlier conversation. Sometimes the most popular book or literary darling is something so deep that you need to keep a dictionary open and Google open while you read. If it's not your jam, don't read it. If it's making you work too hard, don't read it. If you want to read the smuttiest romance novels you can find all summer long, do that. I will give you recommendations. If you love thrillers, lean in. If you want to read nothing but historical biographies, do it. Read what you love and you will read more of it. That's just how it is. If you start reading, say, the Throne of Glass series, yes, I always plug this series. I was trying to convince somebody. She's coming up on the 3rd book, and I'm like, this is when it really digs in. This is when it really gets good. If you're going to read that series, deep dive into that all summer, I highly recommend that this is the perfect time to start it. But if fairies and fae and saving the world does not interest you, and smut, there's not really a lot of smut in that series until you get towards the end. But anyway, if that sort of thing does not interest you, don't read it, even if everyone is telling you that it's good. If you want to sit up here and read everything that won a Booker Prize last year, do that. If you want to read all the books that got a Pulitzer Prize or were on a Pulitzer Prize list, read those. You know what I mean? Find what you love and you will read more of it. My second tip is don't be afraid to DNF, which means don't complete the book, just in case you didn't know. I've been a very deliberate DNFer of books this year. Went too long with trying to finish a book because I started it and I felt obligated to because I said I started it and I was like, oh, I've got to get my opinion up. No, this year I give a book about 25%. And if it hasn't captured me or I'm bored, I'm moving on. But I admit to still working on this. Last week, I DNF'd the book at 75%. I tried and tried for like 3 months because it started off so good. Like I was so intrigued by the premise. And the first half of the book was actually, it was good. I was enjoying it. But then I hit that last 25% and like it just didn't get better. It just sunk into muddiness. And I felt like if I just muddled through it, it would get better. But I got tired of muddling through it because, friends, there are so many more books that I could be reading. My TBR overfloweth. And so I stopped at 75%. It was hard for me, but I made that decision to let it go. And I'm telling you, if I can do it at 75%, you can do it at 10%. You can do it one chapter in and be like, this is not for me. You might give it 5 chapters and say, no. You might be like me and give it 75% and be like, I'm not even interested in finishing this book. That's okay because guess what? Life is too short for bad books, friends. It's just too short. Move along. Number 3, turn off your notifications. It is so easy to be distracted by a social media alert, a text message, a news alert. Put yourself on do not disturb for at least an hour and watch your reading life change. I swear to you. I have gotten to the point where I actually pick up my book. I put my phone away from me when I'm reading because otherwise I might be tempted to pick it up and be like, oh, so what do they say on this? Because, sometimes my brain does hopscotch. And sometimes if my brain is doing hopscotch, I also realize that the book is not keeping my interest and I move on. Just another thought. But yes, social media, your phone can be a distraction. Those news alerts, everything will get you. So put it away from you or put your phone on do not disturb, and you will be amazed at how much more reading you get done. Number 4, habit stack reading with something else you do every day. This is something that I do. I do my nighttime skin routine and my nighttime getting ready for bed routine. Like I'll, do my skin routine. I change into my pajamas. I take out my contact lenses and put on my glasses. I might do a little face mask. I tie up my hair. I get into bed. I take my ashwagandha and I settle in with a book for about 30 minutes to an hour before bedtime. It is like a ritual to me, and it keeps me always knowing that I'm going to at least get in that time for reading during the day. Your brain will thank you. You can do it in the morning after you journal. You can listen to a book while you wash the dishes or clean up the kitchen at night, or be like me and read instead of scrolling before bed. Like I said earlier, your brain will thank you. Number 5, always, always, always have a book nearby. This I find is really the key. And this is why I initially got a Kindle, because it easily fit into most of my bags and purses and I could take it with me. It's small for vacations, it's good for car rides when I'm not the driver. But if a Kindle is not in your budget, there's always the app on your phone. You can get the Kindle app on your phone without actually having a Kindle. You can get the Nook app that Barnes& Noble has without having the actual Nook. You can do these things. You can read on Apple Books. You can download, even bookshop.org has their own app now where you can read ebooks on their app. You can do the Libby app on your phone, from your library and read books that way, always on your phone. You can always have a book with you. I keep a paperback in my car or, just in case. A smaller book sometimes I will take with me just in case because you never know. And for me and some of my friends that I know, there's always a book ready to be listened to also. So the key to reading more is to always be ready. Be ready, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Isn't that what they say? Same thing goes with reading. So hopefully these tips, they're really short, really easy, help you this summer to get more reading in. That is the goal this summer, y'all, to relax and read. I'm just saying, what better is there? With a icy beverage in the shade sounds perfect. Now, let's talk about what I read last, what I'm currently reading, and what I'm going to read next. What I read last was Julie Chan is Dead by Leanne Zhang. You guys, this was so good. I mean, so good. Let me read you what the premise says. Julie Chan has nothing, but her twin sister has everything except a pulse. Julie Chan, a supermarket cashier, has nothing to lose. Her twin sister is Chloe Van Heusen, a popular influencer. Separated at a young age, the identical twins were polar opposites and rarely spoke, except for that one viral video that Chloe initiated. It was called Finding My Long Lost Twin and Buying Her a House. #emotional. When Julie discovers Chloe's lifeless body under mysterious circumstances, she seizes a chance to live the life she's always envied. Transforming into Chloe is easier than expected. Julie effortlessly adopts Chloe's luxurious influencer life, complete with designer clothes, a meticulous skincare routine, and millions of adoring followers. However, Julie soon realizes that Chloe's seemingly picture perfect life was anything but. Haunted by Chloe's untimely death and struggling to fit into the privileged influencer circle, everything comes to a head during a weekend long island retreat with Chloe's exclusive group of influencer friends. As events spiral out of control, Julie uncovers the sinister forces that may have led to her sister's demise and realizes she might be the next target. This was so delightfully unhinged. The first line in the book is, "One thing needs to be made clear. I did not kill my twin sister." And from that line on, it was just wild. I swear, I sat through the last 25% of this book with my mouth open. I highly recommend this if you are looking for a fast read that is also a dumpster fire. It is one of those books, reminds me of Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, where it's like you really don't like the main character. But unlike take that back, unlike Yellowface, you do find yourself rooting for this one, even though you're still sitting there like, girl, you did what? Girl, why are we supposed to feel sympathy for you? Girl, it was excellent because you can't help yourself. It is so good. I gave this 5 out of 5. It was so good. It was excellent. Anyway, I am currently reading, well, it's Tuesday, so I'm about to download Rewind It Back by Liz Tom Ford. I have been looking forward to reading the love story of my favorite character in the Windy City series since about the second book, I guess. And finally, Rio's story is here. I am not allowed to download this book until the end of the day, or else I will get no work done. This is my prize for getting through the day. Let me tell you what it's about. Rio never thought he would be the only single one left in his friend group, but after years of trying to find love, he has decided that it might not exist for him anymore. That is until he accidentally hires Haley Hart to renovate his house, and their jaded history has him rewinding memories he's kept secret for years. You see, there's something his friends don't know. That connection that he's been looking for since he moved to Chicago, that one person some people search their entire lives to find, he had already found her when he was 12 years old. And now the only girl he's ever loved is moving into the house next door. I am so excited for this book. Rio is a marshmallow, and I just want to read his marshmallowy love. I cannot wait. But like I said, I cannot download this book until the end of the day. Maybe lunchtime if I get enough work done. We'll see. What I'm reading next is I'm going to be reading Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. This is the last book in the Revel Blue Ranch series. This is a series that I only completed one book in. I have literally DNF'd all. This is what is this the fourth book? Is this the fourth book or the fifth book? I don't even know, but I've DNF'd all of them but one. I don't know what that says about me. But I like all series, it seems for me, there's always that one character that I want their story. And this is the couple here is it. Plus, I feel like the writing has gotten better with each of these books because the first one, I know people loved it, but I did not. Anyway, let's tell you what this book is about. Camille Ashwood has always loved a plan. Her latest was her best yet. She was going to get married so she could secure her daughter's future, get her overbearing parents off her back, and finally start building her own life in small town Meadowlark, Wyoming. Easy, right? But when her groom doesn't show up to the wedding, Cam's life is turned upside down. She doesn't even have a place to live. That is, until she finds out the house she's loved since high school is available to rent. There's only one problem: the neighbor. Dusty Tucker has spent nearly all of his adult life running. Running from what, though? More like who? Cam Ashwood. But ever since he returned home last year, the girl who was his first, well, everything, has become a woman seemingly determined to keep him at arm's length. And he was okay with that. At least that's what he kept telling himself. She was getting married after all, but now she's single and living next door. Dusty wants to show her that they can be friends and that he can stay put. Despite her best efforts to stay away from Dusty Tucker, Cam realizes that being close to him is like slipping on her favorite pair of jeans, easy and comfortable. That is, until past wounds start to open and feelings, both old and new, wreak havoc. Nearly 10 years after they first met, Dusty and Cam begin to wonder if their first love can also be their last. And this time, will it be forever? Again, I love a second chance romance. Both the books I'm looking forward to this week are second chance romances. And I also love that he has always loved her book type. Again, same type of book. Plus, it has to go back to the library in 2 weeks, so I have to finish it. Now, the honorable mention of books that I'm reading next and now is Woodworking by Emily St. James. I just downloaded this yesterday to listen to after hearing about it on a podcast, and I honestly can't remember what podcast I was listening to. But Eric, let me tell you what it's about. Skyberg is 35-year-old. Erica Skyberg is 35 years old, recently divorced, and trans. Not that she's told anyone yet. Mitchell, South Dakota, isn't exactly bustling with other trans women. Instead, she keeps to herself, teaching by day and directing community theater by night. That is until Abigail Hawks enters her orbit. Abigail is 17, Mitchell High's resident political dissident and only trans girl. It's a role she plays faultlessly, I'll bet a little reluctantly. She's also annoyed by the idea of spending senior years secretly guiding her English teacher through her transition. But Abigail remembers the uncertainty and loneliness that comes with it. Besides, isn't the only one struggling to shed the weight of others. As their unlikely friendship evolves, it comes under the scrutiny of their community, and soon both women and those closest to them are forced to ask, who are we if we choose to hide ourselves, and what happens once we disappear into the woodwork? Yeah, I'm intrigued by this book, and I will be listening to it probably today while I am cooking breakfast, driving around. It's going to be my chore book, I call it. But I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Okay, friends, that is all I have for you today. This was a short episode. I hope you learned something and got a new book or two for your TBR. I hope you enjoyed the pod today. If you did, I'd love it if you follow me on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. And if you have a little bit more time, please consider leaving me a review on Apple Podcasts or sharing the pod on social media. It truly helps us connect with other book friends and grow. As always, you can also personally follow me on IG and TikTok at LaShawn Wilkes and on my Substack at Letters to LaShawn. Remember, you do want to become a subscriber. You can become a free subscriber so you can get that summer reading guide next week. I'll leave a link in the show notes. Summer reading guide plus maybe adult reading something or other. We'll see. Anyway, thank you for listening, friends. I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.